So how do I put each one of these in order to be applied into the signal? Let's go back to the SynthDefs that I have already created from last week, and let's create another variable called envelope. Well, N, but you understand it's for envelope. The concept now here is that I would be able to, instead of having in the output of my signal a static amplitude, because the envelopes, by definition, they control the amplitude of my signal, yes? I would be doing something like that. I mean, from first look, this seems correct, but we need to encapsulate this envelope class inside something which gonna trigger itself. So to trigger that, we need to use another thing called EnvGenerator. So the EnvGenerator is gonna take an argument of my envelope definition. So once I have created a new variable called envelope, I would make use of this envelope generator class that I just explained. And because it's a control rate, I can use it as a control rate. I could use an audio rate for higher precision, but that's okay. I'm just gonna use control rate. So now the first thing that my envelope generator is asking is, the first argument is what kind of envelope you want me to trigger or to generate. So I'm gonna put the envelope, right? Because the envelope here, I'm gonna put the for example, perk. And the perk, as I just mentioned, like minutes ago, I can control the attack time and the release time. The rest is gonna be left as they are. And then the envelope generator, it asks something very important, and that is the doneAction argument. You can, of course, control other things like the level scale, but what is more important here is the doneAction. The doneAction is the additional parameter of the envelope generator, which is gonna tell to the voice, release yourself, don't exist anymore. So that's important because we don't want to pile up voices that are not used, not creating anything anymore. For example, they don't do any sound. So let's just take the first parameter, which is 0, and say that I'm not going to explain that, what's happening, but I'm going to explain that in a way with more visual representation by using the node tree window, what this parameter is doing. So let's go and load this inside. Let's load this to our server. So once it's there, I can go and create one, right? And it says synth signs not found. Oh, because I haven't kicked this one. So now that I have added the envelope, you see that it takes, and also this is important, yeah, because if I don't put that, if I just have this as a static value, then there is no enveloping in my sound. There's no control of the amplitude of the sine oscillator. So what I have to have is to add it here. So I'm not gonna run it again. That's okay. One thing that's happening though, and that's the important aspect here, is that I have this sign still hanging around. I have this node not released. And that's a problem. And you can see that also from here. You see 2, but if I kill this, you can see 1. And basically, this is the node that is running already. which is running, but running really is not making any sense here, because by running would be something that is useful. And because this is not useful anymore, excuse me, then makes no sense to have it. So that's where the doneAction parameter is very important and useful. By saying the action that needs to be done when the envelope is completed, when it's completed mean in terms of time, yeah, because the envelope is a time domain concept. So once this is done, I can tell it with doneAction what to do: release it, or stay there as it is, do nothing, and other actions which not that important, or maybe they are important, but for today I'm just gonna cover 0 and 2. So 0 is just don't do anything when the envelope is completed, but with 2, which is what I would like for this moment, is release the node. Okay, and that's because I don't want to have voices piled up into my node tree, because I'm gonna, if this SynthDefs would create, would be something that they were doing lots of signal calculation, that would mean that it would require a lot of CPU, and that's something you need to be aware as working with computers. So let's run it again, because I changed it to 2, the doneAction here of the envelope. And let's run again a voice. Great. That's what I'm actually looking. It stops after 2, because my release is 2 seconds. And still I have the last one. So let's just kill the previous one. Now I have nothing here. So if I create another one voice more, sorry. Now you see that, did you see that? That it took like 2 seconds, but then it kind of disappeared. So that's why it is important. This lets me clean the space from the nodes that already performed. So that's why it's important to know the doneAction and what each value corresponds to. So let's trigger this couple of times and see what happens in the node tree. And then see the node tree, how it cleans itself. Let's go back and have 0. Run it again. Now, in terms of sound, nothing has changed really. Although what's happening in the background under the hood is that my sine voices are still there. That's not good, because as you see here, I'm piling up voices, and I need to, and that's gonna probably lead into a clipping of the sound, because it will have all these piled up sines in the background, and that's not really healthy. So when you know what, if you know what you're doing and you want your voices to be there for some reason, then you can use 0. But if you want your voices to be finished and cleaned and disappearing once the envelope is done, then you need to have 2. So let me clean everything. Then I'm creating so many, and I'm glad that this is being taken care.